and welcome. What a Friday night we've had at the Hellenic Club in Canberra. We've just watched the 4th round of the Doeberl Cup and we have no clear leader after 4 rounds. The 4 players who were leading with 3 out of 3 drew with each other. The top board game between Amador Rodriguez and Levente Vaida, the top seed, looked as if it was heading in the favour of the Spaniard. In this position, White has a clear advantage in the endgame, and you would think that White could slowly but surely make progress. However, here Vaida found a wonderful resource. He played b4, and after b4, if White takes the pawn, which he did, then Black plays queen a7, then recaptures the pawn, and he wins the pawn on a2. The pieces were liquidated and a draw was agreed. There was good defensive play by Vaida, who's looked very impressive in this tournament so far. Also on board 2, Rathnakaran and Adam Horvath played a very hard-fought draw. They all go to 3.5. They were joined in the lead by Yang Kai Kui, the Chinese international master who beat Australian #1 and 3rd seed Zhao Zhongwan. Zhao Zhongwan found himself in an inferior position and just suffered for the rest of the game. He's on 2 out of 4 and likely out of the running for a big prize. A number of other players also made it to 3.5, but the game we're going to look at is halfway down the field. 16-year-old Lawrence Matheson from Melbourne beating international master Moulthun. The players have reached a standard position arising from the Samish King's Indian, though it can also arise from the Benoni. And here Moulthun played a move with which he'd had great success in a tournament in Vietnam a month earlier. He played knight h5. It's reminiscent of Bobby Fischer's move against Boris Spassky in their World Championship match in 1972, but the difference was Fischer's move worked. Here, after knight takes h5, pawn takes, bishop e2, f5 castles, Moulthun played queen f6, and this move threatens to play f4, and after which the knight on e5 will be able to stay there forever. However, in his earlier game, Moulthun had faced e takes f5 in this position, and he had gone on to win a fine game. Lawrence Matheson didn't know that game, but over the board he found the refutation of Lee's play. He played f4, knight g4 and e5, a very strong move. Probably Lee should just retreat his queen, though his position is rather bad. Instead, he took on e5, and after bishop c5 he's in big trouble. If he moves the rook away from f8, then h3 comes, and then the knight has to move away from g4, and then he wins the h5 pawn for free. White will be a pawn up for absolutely nothing. And White could also throw in f takes e5 in the middle of that, just to make sure Black doesn't get a passed pawn. So Lee decided he had to sacrifice something. He played e4, giving up the exchange, because if Matheson takes it, he'll take back with the bishop and get bishop c5 check in. Matheson very calmly played h3, getting ready to take the h5 pawn rather than the rook. Here, Lee decided he was happy just to lose his knight on g4 and try and set up a mating attack. He played bishop d7, but after pawn takes knight, pawn takes pawn, queen e1, there was no threat of queen h4 and g3 anymore. Matheson was a piece up, and slowly but surely he went on to score one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. Lee is sitting on 1.5 out of 4. He looked before the tournament likely to be the newest Olympian for Australia. Now he's got to work hard just to save his place in the team.